Right, Darren, we've just spoke about Yokow and at length. Brian's sending the money, or it's free tickets, whatever. Let's talk on the same sort of script as Darren Phillips as your promoter. So where was your first promotion, mate, and how did that come about?
First promotion was at Mumps, which was a little social club above Oldham bus station. You know, I couldn't even begin to tell you what year it was. It must have been going back to the early 2000s. I'm just trying to think. Ken Quigg fought on it. So it'd be 2004, something like that. So I wanted to do a show. Obviously, I've got my gym, I've got my fighters running up and everything else like that. So I wanted to do a show. So I sat down with all people Sunday and went through the bits that people don't think about. Your postage for your photography, for your posters and all that lot. And I'm just looking around for a venue that's close to here, and I just had 3 fighters on Mike Duffy's last show I think they ever did in this country, to be honest. And funny enough, I had Thrasher on that show. I think I had Ken Quigg and it might have been Martin Shivnan. Martin Shivnan had his first fight for us, and Thrasher won by first round stoppage. Andy Brocklebank was on that show. Andy Brocklebank's first fight was on it as well. And Craig O'Zay. In fact, Craig O'Zay and Andy Brocklebank fought each other on that show. Oh. And Thrasher fought on it, because I remember talking, because Andy obviously fought Craig twice. I was talking to Craig about him, both of them the first fights on the same show, and he said, yeah, because I remember going through the card thinking, I'll watch everybody else who's 70 kilos, and Andy spangled this lad. I think Andy fought at 70 against somebody at 74 and knocked him out in a round. And I remember Craig saying to me, so I'm thinking about keeping an eye on him, like, funnily enough.
Yeah.
So Duffy had just done a show then, I'm looking for a venue, and he said, why do you use Mumps? He said, easy, blah, blah, blah. So I had nowhere else to go, so I used Mumps. I only put 3 fighters on. I had all kinds of, I think John Love fought on it, from up in Wales. Thrasher fought Dave Paquette, knocked Dave Paquette out in 30 seconds. Wow. And that was the fight I was nervous about, because I knew there was like the next big thing, and I come along, and that was one of those inspired moments. I'd not seen him at the weigh-in, seen him walking around, look at him, weighing him up, and I remember I said to Andy, I said, right, he's going to come out, he's going to start kicking, he's going to be all that. I said, at one point, he's going to step back and he's going to drop his hands. I said, just block his kicks, the second he drops his hands, just bang him as hard as you can. And literally he comes out and he throws kick, 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 and after about 4 or 5 little bits of kicking, he stepped back, dropped his hands, Andy stepped in, 1-2, knocked him out. And he threw a left eye kick after the 1-2, and it whizzled over his head as Paquette was going to the floor. It's a good job it didn't connect, because he'd have still been asleep now, about 15 years later. And John Blackledge got to, I think, 8, and Paquette wasn't moving and stopped the fight. And if he'd have gone 9, 10, 11, Paquette was up and fine to go, but at 10 he was still out of it. And he did recover like on about the 11th or 12th second, and he probably could have fought on then, but he stopped the fight at 8 because he wasn't moving, and he got up and after 11, 12 seconds, and he looked like then he could have carried on, but at 8 I'd have stopped the fight in hindsight. And I'd call Steve Dickinson and Kenny Quigg, Scott Quigg's brother, fought on it.
And so back then, no social media, no platforms, everything done over the phone?
Everything done over the phone. I think Andrew prepared a poster of some kind, something like that. It was dreadful. Yeah. I remember my second show getting some sponsors and spelling solicitors wrong on the programme. There was no words, spell check or anything like that. No. The solicitor had bought a table, like I did put an advert in the programme for him, she spelled bloody solicitors wrong, like, well, shit. Yeah.
So it must have been, it's a minefield now, promoting. So then,
terrible.
I mean,
I had no idea what I was doing.
Just hoping that people turn up at the weigh-in.
Hoping that they turn up, because we did it on the day weigh-in. We didn't even have a day before weigh-in. Just sent people tickets. Just hope that people came up and rocked up with ticket sales. No idea at all.
There weren't mobiles even then, was there?
Yeah, we had mobiles. Just yeah.
Well, not everybody.
Not everybody had them then. Do you know? I mean, I can't, thinking back on the shows then. Vicky fought on it actually, because she fought a girl, Vicky, Scott Chadwick's sister. She fought a girl from Elite, and they had John Love on it. I had some Kirby Tarbots and Dave Jackson had a couple on it. Sandy had someone on it. Sandy had somebody fighting. Don't ask me who. Obviously us. I think I put 12, maybe 14 fights on. I did all right out of it. It was okay. And then from there, I think we hung around a little bit, and then eventually went up to Hayward Civic Centre. And that was one of my favourite venues, perfect venue.
I photographed one of them shows.
It was a great little venue. everything you wanted, right? It was quite easy to get to off the motorway stations. 3 rooms for changing in, so you had your blue, your red, and your crossover.
Yeah.
Nice little stage, you know, a bit of tiered seating at the back, car parks, people could get there. They'd let you bring a caterer in, so I did a deal with a couple of Thai restaurants a few times, Masterwoody initially, and then another one in Bury. And I did about 8 there, I think, and they were good shows. I mean, Thrasher fought Mike Egan on there.
Yeah.
Sean Wright fought on it. I promoted some people over the years.
Yeah,
Like
well,
Dave Phillips had a fight on there. You know,
you forget most of them, don't you? That's the thing.
I did the John Dennis versus Panicos on it. One of the strangest fights I've ever seen. John Dennis drops Panicos in round 3 or 4 with a left hook. Panicos stayed since I got up and there were 4 of them in front of me, and Pete Feely sat in the corner going, right, move round now, John, move round. I'm sat ringside thinking, what? Because you're losing this fight massive until you've just dropped him. And Panicos says, I stood there thinking, don't attack me because I don't know which one's hitting me. Like, you know,
Yeah.
and he moved around and Panicos went on. Did he win? I can't remember if it was a draw or he won, but I know John didn't win. Do you know?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, that's some fight there, isn't it?
Oh, that was a great fight then. Jordan Calder, we promoted him a couple of times. Quite a few, I think 6 or 8 there, and then I actually had. It was as Daz was coming along and asking me to do shows as well, so that I won't want to link to the other. But I had a bit of an argument with him because one day I'd paid to have the tiered seating put up, and when I came up, I said, "Where's the tiered seating up?" I said, "No, I've not got the staff to do it." I said, "Well, I need that tiered seating up. Do you know, we can't put it up." I said, "Well, you need to find a way to put it up. I've paid for the tiered seating. I've got the people coming, and we can't put it up." So this went on for about 5 minutes, and then Maxine moved me off to one side, and I thought, right, I'm not going there again. So as I was dealing with...
It was a good venue.
It's a great venue. I mean, John's been back to it since. John Taylor's been back to it since.
Yeah.
But then what they did is, I tried to go back when jumping ahead a little bit, and they basically then just said, well, we can't let you put tables on the stage anymore. Well, hang on a minute. That's a photograph of John Taylor's show 3 months ago where he's got tables on the stage. No, we can't do it. We shouldn't have done it then, and we can't let you do it. And basically the way it worked is those tables were my profit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so I took them tables away and I wasn't making any money out of it. And again, it's all right doing a show and breaking even, but when you're doing a show knowing that your best, you know, result is breaking even, and you're almost certainly going to lose money.
So your last one there must have been, what, 2010-ish, 11?
About the same year as the first Reebok, so I'd say about that.
Yeah, because I think I photographed the last one that you did there, and I think you had that filmed and onto DVD.
Yeah, they all went on. They all went
Did
on
they?
DVD. Them actually, it made me think actually because they're probably all up there to be honest.
Which is
Yeah,
then pretty forward thinking,
yeah.
because not many, you know, there weren't lots about, was there?
There weren't a
Film
lot.
footage, you know, and you didn't get nothing. AX again we talk about, which was the forum.
Yeah.
Very little footage on there. You got the odd fight poster.
Yeah.
So that was Darren, like, probably thinking outside the box a little bit, getting the great fights on. So you finished there, and what
Sort
was
of
the
as I was
progression?
promoting there, Daz Morris rocks up to me and says, "I want to do a show." And I said, "Right, what do you want to do?" He said, "Well, I want to do 15 A classes on one show. I just want to do this big massive show." I said, "You're mental." I said, "You're mental. You can't do that. 15 A classes. It's going to take too long. It's going to cost too much money." Have you thought? And he said the same thing. I've sit him down and said, "Have you thought about this? Have you thought about postage? Blah blah blah." He sat there and went, "Oh, hang on a minute. There's more to this than I think." I said, "Oh, there is." So that was it. We rocked together. Had a few more conversations, and the Rumble and the Reebok started. So we did how many of those, a few of those.
So was you involved from the first?
From the first one, yeah, from the first one, because we had Thrasher top the bill on it, didn't he? Fought Dave Newbrock for a world title on it.
I did all the PR and the publicity, and
So I refed the first 4
it
or
was
5
a huge
fights.
event.
Massive,
Huge.
massive. No one's ever done anything like that before or since. Even like, you know, when you talk 15 A class fights. And
After himself, after Morris,
yeah,
never doing a show,
never
not
done
done a
anything.
show before.
Nothing at all. Nothing, not a single one. So, typical Morris thing, you know, like, what can I do that's going to be bigger than anything else anybody else has done? And it was a great show. I love doing the Rumble at Reeboks. Obviously, the reason why we don't do them, for whatever reasons now, the fight cards aren't there, the backing's not there. I liked those. I liked Event City, The Point. I did like doing them shows, but I like doing the small shows as well. I love doing it. Like that one. All right, I love doing the Rumbles and all that, but the show I did at Ashton the Week, the best show I've ever done.
Yeah, it was a great show.
It was a fantastic show.
Pressure-wise, the big shows and the budgets, huge.
Well, yeah, massive. I mean, like, but Daz kind of took care of, Daz and Phil took care of that. I just did the matchmaking and the sort of general organisation around it, really. So I didn't even know how much they were costing because probably I'd have put a couple of things together, but if I did know exactly how much it would cost, and it wouldn't have lasted as long. But yeah, I mean,
because it was the planning was meticulous. From my point of view, think of like the publicity machine behind it,
Yeah.
which I drove a lot of it. All that was bang on point.
Yeah,
it
had
was,
to be.
It was meticulous.
Whatever I want to say, anybody says of it, me, Daz and Phil, we were a great team, and we went through everything. We picked up every potential problem in advance and thought we'd addressed it. Particularly, I think the best one we did do was the Event City. That was a ridiculous show. I mean, and I remember like on the weigh-in, the night of the weigh-in, we took over Facebook that day in the UK. Everything was talking about Event City. Even people were texting us saying, "You've took over Facebook." Not us. We're sat going, "We've took over Facebook," and people saying, "Wow, you've took over Facebook." Do you know? It was unbelievable. Everyone was talking about that show, and it was a great
fan.
Yeah,
To go and watch it, it was off the scale.
it was ridiculous.
It was great. It was great. It was a great production. It just was like this. Now could be the way for things to move forward. It didn't move forward as such. Things have gone different directions.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy your time doing them?
Yeah, I did. I really really enjoyed doing something a little bit differently, but it's not sustainable, unfortunately.
Because of the costs?
Cost is ridiculous. I'm not even going to tell you what
No.
Event City cost, but I know how much it was, and I know how much the fight card was as much as just about any other show is, without everything else on top of it, And Event City put a lot of money towards that as well, because they were trying to get themselves established as an events venue, and we couldn't do that now. Not a prayer.
No.
Not a prayer.
And
Which is a crying shame. But
it is. But again, going back to what we was talking about before, and ticket sales and the exposure, and you can't do that without backing, can you?
No, I mean, if we talk about Event City, the ticket sales for that were massive. There were fighters after fighters coming in having done 100 tickets. There were at least 6 people did 100 tickets by themselves on that show, And normally you'd be thinking, "Oh, that's great." I can't remember how many fighters we put on it, but I know that Capwitz and Doc fought each other. They both did 100 tickets each. Dayton fought on it and Skier fought on it from the same gym, and they both did 100 tickets each.
Yeah.
Do you know? And obviously you've got Tate on it as well, and everything else like that. Barnhill did, and then Liam versus Cuban. I don't think Liam versus Cuban was on that show.
And Tate come in one car though with all his supporters, allegedly.
And a boot full of
Yeah, it was a really good card, and again, I spoke to Morris, we started off doing a few interviews with Daz, and he still regards it as probably the biggest crowd support at any Thai boxing event in the UK.
I'd say so. It was big in the end. There was more there than there was at the MEN, and there was physically more there. I think there was more there than there was at the USN, and there had to be more than there was at Yokkao. Do you know? Because Yokkao because the size of the room.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that if Brian could find a Yokkao a venue that's twice the size, he wouldn't fill it out. I think he probably would come close to filling it out, but that has to be the best supported Thai boxing show there's been.
Good numbers,
Yeah.
good numbers and great events, and so that finished with the lads, the 2 lads. They then, did you do the last one?
No, I didn't. I had nothing to do with Birmingham. I did a bit with USN, but then the dates were clashing with the boxing and everything else like that, and there was a few issues, and I just said, "No, I don't want to do Birmingham. You just crack on with it by yourselves." I didn't have a fighter. I refed it. I came there and refed it, but I didn't have a fighter on it.
Right.
And that was that then. And then I was looking for a venue, and I'd done a joint show with John Taylor, because Redcliffe, I live 500 yards away from Redcliffe, and on my 30th anniversary, I wanted to do the venue. I said, "Can I borrow your venue?" And well, let's just do a show together. So we'd done a show together, and he kept saying we should do shows together. I didn't particularly want to, but I didn't really have any other options, so I did probably 5 or 6 shows with John.
Because from the outside,
Yeah. They were
Pete
all right.
Spenceley talking,
Yeah.
it was a strange collaboration to start with.
Yeah. Well,
I'll say it as it is, if other people...
everyone said it. I could never really understand that, and then it was just needs must.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, we've gone our separate ways. John's doing his own shows. We lost Redcliffe. Redcliffe basically got knocked down. We were going to do a show in Bury. He decided he didn't want to do a show in Bury. I was going to go ahead with the show, and then found out that there was another show going ahead in Hayward. So we didn't do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I did a show with Sandy once. many years ago, and I done a show with Dave Jackson as well once, many years ago. But
I mean, the shows with, I mean, I photographed them, as you know. They got filmed. There was good events in Radcliffe.
yeah, it was another one of them buildings. That's what I liked about Ashton, because when I went in Ashton, I thought this is like Radcliffe Civic, which is a little bit bigger. So Radcliffe Civic was just one of them places that just...
It works.
Everyone was there, and it's right on top of the ring.
And it's mad, you go in different venues. Some work.
Yeah, some work and some just don't.
Reebok, Macron, whatever they want to call it now, works.
Yeah.
Others
just don't work.
Don't, you know. And,
like Doncaster Dome.
Yeah.
It should work. It's central for everyone to get to from everywhere. It just doesn't work.
No.
It's just, forget it.
I think one of the best ones, I don't think there may have been Thai boxing shows there, but Park Hall, Charlotte Richard, for me, was one of the best venues ever, and it hardly ever got used. It was like a bear pit in the bottom.
I'm not sure if Johnny Roy's done something.
I think he did boxing. I think he did a Preston like boxing gig. So you did your bits with John. That was successful and good events. Some great junior fights on them as well.
Oh, there were some junior fights.
You know, McGowan appeared on there, didn't he?
McGowan fought Adam. In Adam's first head contact fight, John decides to put him up against Dan McGowan. And me and Daz are saying to John, it's not on this. And he's going, hey, he don't do much. He's not that good. I said, yeah, he is. Of course, he stopped Adam in 48 seconds. Adam fought Adrian Maguire on there. That's another great match. He went the distance with Adrian. And then obviously moved on. We had... Well, the likes of Lewis Bentley, Lewis George, again, they started off on there. And then 4 years ago, I had 10 fighters on that show. So it's funny because I had 10 fighters in Ashton the other week, and it's 4 years, middle of December, that I had 10 fighters on it. And again, that's when Bryce Deval come over in the French show. I won the first 9, and I've got Mike up against this 17-year-old French kid who's come as a replacement for the guy who was supposed to fight. I'm thinking, I'm going to do 10 out of 10 here. And after about 45 seconds, I thought, I ain't going to see round 2. And Mike's stuck it out and come back at Bryce. A couple of times Daz was close to stopping him, but he just kept fighting back, and I can't knock Mike on that performance. Bryce Deval, you can see obviously he's a superstar, isn't he? You know,
because we'd seen him in the juniors,
yeah,
so we knew he was good.
I had no idea who he was at all, and then afterwards, like, people say, oh, I've just seen him fighting at this show and that show. I'm like, well, and then
he'd been everywhere,
and then like Mahmoudi Jim doing this all the time.
Mahmoudi flying under the radar with that, but if you look at him now, Safari, and Bryce, there's another kid as well. They're virtually walking into one championship now.
Well, Bryce is in one championship.
You know, and they're doing well. Yeah. Well, that for me, and behind the camera, but Mike's like family. Yeah. At the stage of that fight was awful to watch, mate.
Yeah, it was hard work. It was hard in the corner, you know. I've had some, like, obviously, like, there was that fight with Mike against Bryce, and then when he fought Leif Taggart, when we fought Leif, he was winning the fight and got dropped. And it was coming back, but every now and then he just did something silly but he wasn't really in ever danger. It was just a flash knockdown. Yeah. It was hard in the corner against Craig Oakley. But again, against Craig Oakley, I thought that if he'd attacked a little bit, he might have been able to cause him some problems, but we all know how good Craig is. Yeah. Probably the hardest corner for me with Mike was against the tall lad, Neil McGowan, or whatever he's called. I can't remember, because I just don't think Mike wanted to know about it that day, and I thought that Mike could have caused that lad a lot more problems if he'd attacked him more and put him on his back fight. Yeah, the Irish McGreevy, that's him. Yeah, he could have had more. So it was hard for me to watch that because he was getting hurt because he just wasn't doing what I know he could do, and I think he knows that now. And that Mike saying to me, I was right, I need a break. Yeah, and I said, yeah, I think you do.
You're running on empty.
You know, and then come back with that performance 2 weeks ago.
Amazing. So if we go back to that, not that show as yet, but. So you'd finished with John, and then what did you go on to then? Did you not do anything then for a while?
I didn't do anything then for a while because there wasn't a venue around. There was nowhere around. I've looked everywhere in Bury, you know, and the leisure centre costs a fortune. And then the other place that gets used now and then is the drill hall. But it all depends who you talk to at the drill hall and what the mood is, because it's an army-owned building. So I started to go through the process of hiring the drill hall. And then when they're saying they want security background checks and everybody's going to be working on it and they're going to warn everybody that comes through it and blah, 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 you're thinking, this just ain't going to work. No. It's not going to work. No. So then that was it for a couple of years, and then our mate, Craig
from Masonic.
Yeah, says, are you looking for a venue? I know of one. So early part of 2018, I goes to speak to these people, looks at it, I thought, I can do this. Went to a boxing show there, about 120 people in it, great atmosphere. I thought, I can smash this. And then we did this first show there in July.
Well, I had a pub over the road from there, where I met Tracy, and So I knew the venue, I knew it well. I'd just never known ring sports events. To be
Yeah, I
honest.
know you said to me,
So
that'll
they
work.
sure you
That.
got the right place?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Sonic. Yeah. So the first show we put on, fantastic.
Great, yeah, July 2018. Brought 6 Spanish over, had 7 fighters on. So adult wise, I put Adam and Hassan with Spanish. I put Lewis George, Lewis Bentley, Kalisha and Ella. And I had Anthony Emmer on starting the show, and then the backup around that. Built it around ours. We got 7 wins. And again, with the Spanish, I contacted Jimmy Cantor, said, I want these 6 people. I don't want 6 people from one gym. I want you to find me the 6 best people for these people to bring over. And just the performance again on the day was superb. We couldn't fault a single one of them. Probably for me, Kalisha's best fight for us, possibly.
Yeah.
Ella did what she did. Lewis Bentley stopped his lad in 30 seconds. He just lost to Finlay. And that was a bit of frustration come out there. And Lewis George's lad come out like an absolute train. And Lewis just took it off the first round. I remember he come back to the corner and said he'd done him after the first round. And I said, well, just go and do what you do. And that.
Kalisha was actually overmatched on the day.
Yes.
Pulled out what we found out of since.
Since then,
It's hard with Spain, Darren, and parts of Holland, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're not getting what you think.
Yeah, you get told this, told that, and then you book all the flights, and then you sat there after you booked all the flights, and you're looking and going, hang on a minute, I'll just check this person in, and she's how old?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I remember saying to you about a week before the show, I said, I've got a bit of background on Kalisha, and you just went, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Let's
It
just
is what
roll
it is
with
now.
And she pulled off a
She was brilliant. in that fight.
accomplished, fantastic
Yeah,
performance.
that was her best performance, I think, you know. I said, just the rest of them did what they did. Hassan was ill in the build-up to it, and in the first 2 rounds he just wasn't doing anything. And I said, Hassan, are you going to keep sitting there whether you're worrying if you were fit enough to fight this fight? You're going to go out and find it, because the way you're going at the moment, you're going to lose on points, and you're going to get out of the ring and you're going to be kicking yourself for about 4 months.
Yeah.
I said, you just need to go and find out if you've actually got anything in your tank or not, and then let's go out and give it him for a round, and if you've got no left, then we'll call it a day, but at least try. And he just turned into a ridiculous man. Such a talent, Hassan.
Yeah.
Such a talent.
Oh, blimey. Fantastic.
So he's just a ball of fast twitch muscle fibre that just needs to be released in the right direction. Tremendous athlete, but anyway.
If it's released in the ring that day, it's either for somebody, isn't it?
Yes, that's it.
And then obviously your event a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
A lot of planning, as normal, meticulous in detail. You've done the venue.
Hardest show I've ever done.
Yeah.
You know, busiest weekend ever, busiest fortnight ever. So it wasn't just that weekend, it was the week before and the week afterwards. Must have been 15 shows over
Ridiculous. I think it was 18 in total that we know of.
Yeah, so,
and that's just in Thai boxing worlds.
Yeah. So I'm like that thinking, how am I going to string a card together? And what I originally had in mind, I knew my main event, and I was going to build it around that. So I had to change the show about 3 times. I managed to keep my main event and end up turning it into a GFC home show again, really. 16 fights, did we do? 16 fights, and 10 of those were from my show. Chucking kids in and thinking, no, these weren't really ready to fight yet. I didn't want them to fight just yet, but let's just build a card around it. Ticket sales were superb, and I remember the first fight, little Alfie, 7-year-old having his second fight. We started the show bang on time, a couple of minutes late because we were having a little bit of an issue, and I'm thinking, we've opened the doors half an hour ago, there'll be 60 people, and then watertight with 3/4 full. And I remember thinking, what's this going to be like in 3 hours' time? And then by the time we got to, like I'd said, I want the main events, that third quarter, stroke, 4th, 5th, straight after the interval, boom, 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 European title, A-class fight, world title, juniors. And when they come out after the interval, wow, I've never known anything like it. And by the time Lewis fought, it was like, you could have been at Old Trafford. The crowd
Fantastic.
was amazing. I just loved every fight. If I go through them quickly, Alfie, 7-year-old, lost his first fight, won his second fight in a fantastic performance, really technical. His sister Amelia, so that's the first time I had a brother and sister fight in the same show. I've had 2 brothers and sisters fight, but not on the same show. Superb. Miles, kidding problem, expelled from school, blah, 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 blah. Finally gets in there and does his business. Great stuff. Little Harry, we knew we had a hard fight with Thomas from Valley. Naturally bigger kid and all that lot, and Harry's still getting used to our system. Thought he was superb. I watched it back, it's actually clearer a win than I thought it was on the day as well. Alright, Kyle didn't turn up, it is what it is, he's got a good reason which we won't go into. Daniel Oxley, 16-year-old, best debut I've ever seen from anybody. And you go to them last 4. Ella does what she does. Mike Eslick, the release of emotion that's captured in that one picture.
Frightening.
That one picture of Mike,
Cheers.
that's the one you need to put up on this one there now.
Yeah.
The release of emotion with Mike's like that, because he's just so much has gone wrong for him over the last 2 years, and it's something that's solved his life, and he feels like it's, I'm back. It's just one of the best pictures I've ever seen.
Because to be fair, if he loses that,
what's he going to do? I don't. We never had this discussion.
Well, you wouldn't do, would you?
But we never had that discussion. But I think we all knew that if Rob McNee was a really live opponent, wanted the fight for 2 years. He'd been chasing that fight for 2 years. I knew we had a right fight on our hands. Done loads of training in Thailand, good southpaw, and I'm thinking, if you lose this fight, I don't see where you're going. And he must have thought it at some point. So we never had the conversation.
Got to do as a fighter.
Yeah,
he would do.
He's clever enough. He's a very, very clever person, man. Yeah. Very clever person. So, and then he does what he does. Lewis, Bentley, just an absolute masterclass. He was injured going into that fight as well. He couldn't do what he normally does as well, and injured in most of the build-up for it. And that kid, he fought. I can't say enough about him.
No.
Because he just didn't stop trying. And I know that he'd had to try and shift a little bit of weight and that, and we moved the weight category up a little bit so he could still have the fight. I just thought he was superb. He just never stopped trying. And then Kieran.
And Ella.
Kieran, both winning by knee stoppages again.
And going back to what we were talking about previously on this one or one or the other, they were tough matches that you took, mate.
Everyone. I don't believe in matchmen.
I was lucky enough to supply you with the info. The Cypriots were no gimmies.
Well, I said to you now, I want a world title for Lewis Bentley, but I want you to tell me who he's fighting. I want the hardest possible
anybody
opponent.
wants to say any different, which they do, because there's one or two better people about, bring it on. Keep your eye on them. All I'll say is keep your eye on them Cypriot names for the next few years, and it'll be similar to what we spoke about the Mahmoudi guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
These guys will go through the ranks. They're winning at ECMAs, mate. They're no mugs.
Well, the lad that Lewis had just fought, he'd just been over to some European Championships, and he got a silver at 45 kilos, and he won gold at 48 kilos. And he was supposed to fight Lewis at 42. We ended up moving it to 44, and he come in just a bit over 44. So he'd probably give 3-4 kilos away against a 48 kilogram lad and beat him to win. And the elder son, Sotris, who fought Jay Nolan, he won that championship over there as well. And the younger son, who they wanted to match, but was only 15, so I didn't match him, he just won the IFMAs.
Yeah.
It's a really good gym.
Yeah, they school well, they're good people and great fighters. And your matches were tough. You're not doing... I wouldn't even go to your home show if it was a home show as we know it. Where you walk in and you can go and point out...
You don't need to pick... You don't
point
need
out
that,
all the winners.
We talk about... I did it with all the matches as well, because let's look at the second fight, Steve Donner's lad and Pitbull's lad, right? I said to Pitbull, I've got this lad. Pitbull says to me, ooh, he's really good in the clinching, I don't know. Says to Steve, I've got this lad. Steve goes to me, who's a really good kicker him. So them two are both there going,
They didn't know.
They didn't know. And then I said, well, come on, boys. Isn't this what you want? If he fights this fight or he fights this fight, he's going to win. And they both went, yeah. So that's a fair play to them two as well, because they were both initially going to say no. And they both ummed and ahed about it, and they both said, you know what? It is what it is. It's what it's supposed to be.
Good shows in good venues will bring that out.
Yeah, of course they will.
Where they'll say, yeah, we'll do it because it is that stage.
That.
And hopefully that stage is there now.
Yeah.
Hopefully twice a year. If you do, if not. But the Masonic now is...
I think it's going to cement itself in
there.
there.
Definitely.
I think
it's
it
there,
will.
the venue's right.
I've not had anyone say this venue's rubbish, I don't want to come back here.
No, and it works.
You know.
Other venues don't work, do they?
Yeah, it is, it's just one of those. I mean, I think it's perfectly situated, even though it's nowhere near here. It's just
right
off the motorway. Do you know, it's got a bit of parking.
It's 15 minutes from here though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is 15 minutes. Like, the venue, when I was talking about the show I actually cancelled, right, which is at the other end of Bury, it takes me longer to get from here up to there than it takes me to get to Ashton.
So the next one planned is
June
2020.
Yeah.
I'll be biased again. Thought the juniors stole the show. Phenomenal performances, you know, and it's great that you're giving them that platform as well, Darren. You know,
what I like is like we talked about before off camera. Malcolm Martin, he's seen enough fights over the years, and when he's commentating, he makes a point. He points out the juniors on this show. He said the matchmaking has been superb, really, even matches, but the schooling of these juniors is fantastic. And he's not just talking about mine. He's talking about all the juniors who are on that show, and I think that's something that everyone needs to get a grip of. The talent in the kids and the way they fight now is light years ahead of what it was 15 years ago. You know. And that's for lots of reasons. It's because they know how to a lot of them are now trying to score properly. The coaches are getting better. They're getting rid of all the we're here, we're all, let's go for it, hands and legs together, baloney. And the performance is there for them to go out and do it on. Because again, if the stage wasn't there for them to go out and do on it,
no,
they wouldn't be doing it.
No,
because there'd be no point.
They'd be still flying around social clubs and.
Yeah.
But you provided the stages. We're gonna. They're all the nice bits, really. So the next time we talk, we've done your promo. We're going to go on to what's happening now, and we're going to next time talk about some of the more contentious matters: parent involvement, scoring, officials getting abuse. We're going to get into the nitty gritty next time. So,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, of course, and so it should be.
Let's look at the guys who run the game.
We've got similar as well now going on with the stuff I've done with Kev on the safeguarding. Mm-hmm. You've been to them courses, you've seen it. We're going to talk on that, so that'll be the next chunk of things, and then we're going to do your boxing and your involvement in Queensbury rules, and we'll see where we go for there for another 3 hours. But thanks for today, mate.
No problem.
If we get a chance to do them before Christmas, we will. And we'll put these out by this weekend. So where are we now? What date are we on now?
Monday no, it's not. It's Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday the 17th, is it?
17th. So these will go 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing them, mate.
I really enjoyed it.
It's
been good to jog my memory.
Yeah. Problem again, we both forget about half of what we've done. So thank you, mate.
No problem.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.